Hey everybody, it's me, that dude with the beard, with another commentary. Now, I am not doing it on Robert Dragon Ball Evolution review, since in all fairness, whatever I was going to say, everybody else has said it. So there's that, and plus, I found this, well, rant by accident. And why is that? I was looking for videos about Toonami, and I got a fairly good amount of material. But I found this one to be the best. And why? This guy is taking an internet block seriously. And since we know talking about Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon or Disney is so freaking amazing, let's see if he has anything to say about Toonami and its amazing block of shows.
Hey guys, Future Gohan SJ2 here. And this is my response to the whole Toonami fiasco. And guess what? For the duration of this video, I'm gonna be all goody two shoes for this video because it was under my impression that rant videos are supposed to be angry. Isn't that the point of rant videos? At least that was my understanding. Alpha Omega Sen gets to get away with it. Blackbuster Critic gets to get away with it. All these other people get to get away with it.
Now, I want you all to remember this, because as soon as I'm done after this clip, he'll mention BBC as one of his sources, which is stupid. BBC has faults, whether you like it or not. He is not the best ranter. The only reason why people think that they like him is because BBC, much like anybody else on the internet, can put up a false face and make it look like he's intelligent. Something that you can't do. Because, as we'll see in the future of this video, you might talk like an intellectual, but your attitude is far, far more condescending than, well, BBC's.
Alpha Omega Sen gets to get away with it. Blackbuster Critic gets to get away with it. All these other people get to get away with it. But actually, you want to know the difference between me and BBC? Okay. Blackbuster Critic does rant videos, and one of my favorites of his is his rant videos on Marvel vs. Capcom 3. You want to know why that's one of my favorites? Because Marvel vs. Capcom 3, because Capcom will put whatever the fuck they want in that game. They'll shortchange you, they'll put shit characters in there compared to the previous title. They'll charge you extra for these characters that should have been in the game in the first place, and they'll put it out. And BBC made a rant video on that, and that made sense.
There's also another thing you failed to realize. BBC has a tendency to really go overboard with his opinions, as if they're fact. I don't dislike BBC, but I will say that sometimes you can tell he's being kind of a dick. However, for Alpha Omega Sin, he doesn't treat his opinions like, they're godsend. I think the difference between those two is that they're two very different personalities, and the fact that you're kind of using them in the same retrospective, more or less kind of destroys an argument that you're trying to make. Just saying, that's all.
Made sense. He called him out. He called out the fanboys. Guess what? It's the exact same situation, people, with Toonami. It's the exact same situation. They're giving you a $60 game, and you're like, oh, we gotta buy this game. We gotta support it. If we want to get those DLC packs of characters, we gotta buy this game. We gotta support it. It's the same goddamn situation, people. It's the same situation. They're giving you a television block with 2 new shows. It'd be like if they released Marvel vs. Capcom 4, the exact same characters, but with 2 additional characters, and you gotta buy the game and support the game so that they can release DLC packs later. Not immediately on release day, if there's enough pre-orders. No, they'll do it later. Maybe they'll do it later. You see where I'm getting at? Do you see the problem here?
No, I don't, because the analogy doesn't fucking work. First off, you don't pay constantly for the fucking game. You pay for it once. And if you want the DLC, yeah, you can pay for it. But sometimes people won't want it, like me. Or how about the fact that you have to pay the cable company for your services? And by the way, another reason why it doesn't fucking work is because they're 2 totally different mediums. You should have thought harder about it. And besides, we don't pay for Toonami. Despite what you might think, we don't pay for it. We pay the cable company to make sure that it airs on our television. However, Adult Swim pays for Toonami. They pay for it to be on television. Facts, boy. Do you research them?
People are and for God's sakes, help me if I have an opinion. And the difference between me and BBC is that he attacked Capcom, and I attacked Toonami. I should have never made that video, because I should have known the very minute I made anything discriminating that old cartoon block, I would have gotten hate up the asshole, regardless of what I said in that video. It wouldn't, if I did anything but praise that television block in a single video, I will get hate for it. Anyone will get hate for it if they do anything that is not praising that television block, and it's true. It's true. Okay?
Okay, this whole entire psychological defense that if BBC can do it, so can I, is fucking stupid. I've said it once with another person. Just because you say it and somebody else has said it over and over doesn't mean you're correct. And by the way, I've seen your comment section. You don't like anyone thinking the opposite way of you. You tend to think that as long as you say something, people will agree. And besides, you have more dislikes than likes. You wanna know why? It's because of how you seem to be insulting people. Yes, you're insulting them, even without having to say it. You wanna know how? It's called an indirect insult. You dumbass.
But I gotta get calm, because regardless of this being a rant video, you're not supposed to be angry. You're not supposed to get emotional. Regardless, besides the fact that I do love this block, which is why I made that video. I loved Toonami. It's one of the biggest parts of my childhood, and so excuse me for feeling shortchanged when they feel the need to air old Adult Swim programming and only give me 2 goddamn new shows that don't even fit the Toonami geographic. Okay, you've got Dead Man Wonderland, a show that does what? It classifies under science fiction horror. And yeah, people bring up the fact of Hamtaro, but guess what? The difference between now and then is that you didn't have to watch Hamtaro. You didn't have to watch Toonami's old programming back then if you didn't want to. They didn't.
I have 2 things to say. One, fuck the genealogy. It comes on at 12 o'clock at night. So you know who watches it? Teenagers or young adults, which are basically the people who remember the show. And 2, you're just bitching for the sake of bitching now. You can still skip that show nowadays. The only difference is, well, let's face it, if it's on now, it sucks. But back then, oh, it would have been great. You didn't have to watch it. But now that it's on now, I have to watch it. That fucking sucks. Goddamn hypocrite.
They didn't dangle Toonami in front of your face and say, oh, you don't support, oh, here's the keys, here's the shiny keys, if you don't support this, we're taking it away from you. That's how it is right now, guys. Adult Swim is dangling Toonami in front of your face and says, oh, if you don't support this, we're taking it away. If you don't waste your time to watch these shows. And guess what, guys? You're all like, oh, I don't care. But guess what? I waste my sleep time. I watch Toonami at 11, and I watch it until it ends at 2. I watch it all the way through. I'm exhausted at about 1 o'clock in the morning, but I don't care. I pull through it, and I watch it until about 2 o'clock. And then I leave my TV on as I go to sleep.
Because it's Toonami and Adult Swim's fault that you fall asleep with the TV on. My God, you're being such a baby. This is what you should do. Record everything, and then go to bed. You can watch it over the week. It's not that difficult. Take it from someone who actually does it like that. You fucking moron. And to think that there's people actually out there who think like this guy. God damn, that's depressing.
And you people are calling me hypocrites and things like that. And okay, I'm gonna cover that again real quick, because okay, tell me how a single night dedicated entirely to nostalgia has anything to do with the entire block returning to continue on every Saturday with new anime and such like that. The April 1st was a night entirely for nostalgia. I made that rant video on people not appreciating it because we've been asking for a portal back in time for the longest time, alright? We've been asking for the portal back, and we got the portal back in time. That was the only point of that. And then we started asking for Toonami back permanently. But getting Toonami back permanently with only 2 damn... Like, I mean, we got Toonami back permanently, but I'm not going to deny the fact that we got shortchanged. Yeah, they have a low budget, I know this. But again, you've got... They're like, oh, we have to have... Toonami's got to prove itself again. Yeah, considering the fact that on April 1st, DBZ had views that equaled almost that of Family Guy, and you have Adult Swim, oh, they still have to prove themselves.
Before we continue, I'm just going to say this right now. The guy obviously has no idea how this shit works. If anything, I'm actually kind of, well, how should I say this? Kind of confused as to why he seems to think that they're at the same pace as Family Guy. Because if you don't know this, it was not that great. The viewership was not as high as you might think. Because, you know what? They didn't advertise it. When advertising doesn't work, you're not going to get a lot of people watching it. Just saying.
Dump more money into Eric Andre, or dump more money into this new show that absolutely no one will like. And yeah, I know some of these shows have fan bases, but regardless of that, they're really stupid shows. You can't deny the fact that they're really stupid. And I mean, we fought for 4 years to be shortchanged. Are you kidding me? Do you realize where my point stands? I don't care if, where my opinion stands. I don't care if you disagree with it or anything like that, but you realize where I have a problem with this. I have a problem with the fact that, and no, it's not the fact, I told a lot of people that I don't care that DBZ Kai is not on there, because I know that the price of it is extremely high.
Then pray tell why did you complain about
all the anime, which has to be on Toonami, they looked through all those anime.
Oh, and by the way, the point that you bring up right now is that they looked through all the other animes and said, well, they're too expensive, but here's these other ones. Here's something I was going to say about this.
Because
you know what? They can't afford it. Did you ever fucking think about that?
The sad part is,
oh, no,
guys,
it didn't.
Oh, that
no, you
Adult
can't
Swim,
think at all.
Well, they could... Okay, let me tell you this. If Adult Swim took off all their anime, if Adult Swim put on Teletubbies, SpongeBob, Tim and Eric, and fuck, I don't know, some other stupid show, and they said, oh man, we're really low on funding, but if you guys waste your time and money and electricity to watch this, maybe sometime in the future, maybe we'll get better shows. Do you not see the problem I have with this? Because it's the same thing, just with slightly better shows. And you still can't deny... And Casher and Sins and all these anime are really dark. The Toonami Geographic had action shows but with light-hearted senses to them. DBZ, Naruto, Gundam, you know, they had these light senses to them, but were also really actiony. You know, Casher and Sins and Deadman Wonderland.
You're being such a hypocrite right now, because what we had on Toonami when we were kids was Cowboy Bebop, Big O, Outlaw Star, and hell, we also had Inuyasha. And I know what you're thinking, but they were at late night, and sometimes we couldn't see it. We still watched it, didn't we? Oh, but let me guess, it doesn't apply because that's in the olden days. Because back when I was a kid, I had to stay up till 12 to watch it on the weekdays. But now I have to stay up till 12 to watch it on the weekends. You're a hypocrite, you know that?
How I have a problem with this, and everyone's blowing this all out of proportion, saying I should hang myself over a television block. You guys are saying I'm getting out of freaking whack over a television block, and you guys are saying in the comments I should hang myself over a television block, and I'm crazy. You have to understand where I'm okay. Let me tell you guys something. Before I make any video, unless it's an immediate reaction video or an unboxing. Before I make any video that's like that, you want to know what I do? Okay, I sit and I think for hours, for days even, depending on the topic, and I think about that situation from every single point and angle. You have to say something, and then you say how. well, you have to say this, and then how? How? Keep asking yourself how, and then when you get to the very root, you can't figure out how to say how anymore, then you have to scrap that entire idea altogether, or you can assume if you have enough general facts.
Remember this statement, because I'm going to come back to it and destroy his argument. I am dead serious. I am destroying his argument with something he said himself. Just saying. Just saying.
And I've done that with everything. I did that with Naruto, which I was right about. Naruto did kill Toonami. Cartoon Network overspent on it. They didn't have enough funds for all these other anime that were a lot below. Okay, if you have a whole bunch of shows that are getting okay views, and then you have like Naruto getting like this massive mountain of views, you're gonna want to put more money into Naruto and then get rid of the other shows because they're not doing much for you. Naruto is getting so much views. Okay, Cartoon Network overspent on Naruto, and then that's when they didn't have anything left after that because Naruto got into their filler arcs. No one was watching it anymore, and after they already overspent on it, they had nothing left, so they had to cancel Toonami. That's not Naruto's fault. Well, they still spent it on Naruto, so in a sense, yeah, Naruto along with Cartoon Network's idiotic decisions killed Toonami.
You know, you're right. It's all Naruto's problem. It wasn't because Toonami was not making enough money, the ratings were declining steadily over the years, or because of the fact that we're trying to make a new lineup, which also had to factor in things like, I don't know, who was watching it, and the popular demographic. You have to take it all into consideration. Something that you are not doing. You're only looking at it from a fanboy's perspective. Oh, it has to be Naruto's fault. It can't be because of the big executives. You, sir, need to learn to do research. Because, wait a minute. This is the fact thing I was talking about. You're not using facts. You aren't using facts. You're using your bias. So guess what? Blew it out of the water. Thank you. Thank you for destroying your own fucking argument.
Not. Okay. But you guys really have to understand where I'm coming from. Try and do what I do. Think about it from every single aspect and angle of, oh, what if this, what if that, and how and why. That's what I do. That's how I always get these things down to the T. And then that's why none of you ever understand what I'm talking about.
Fuck you too!
Every time I make a video, everyone thinks that I'm speaking in another language. I'm talking about something that isn't even happening. I'm making too many big assumptions. And guys, that video was made before Toonami aired. You have to understand that it was an immediate reaction video. Okay, an immediate reaction video to that current lineup. Okay? And I thought about it. I thought about that for that entire day. I thought about that lineup and everything the entire day. And I made that video that night. And I don't even think I uploaded it until the next day. It was before Toonami even aired. And my opinions on it now, to be honest, it's okay. It's okay, alright?
No, you don't. You think it's horrible. I can tell from all the indirect insults, all the general assumptions, all of this overblowing everything to make it look like you know what you're talking about. You don't know. You don't care for it. You don't want it online, on the air, or even available at your local retail store. Let's face it, what you want is the old Toonami back, and it won't, because we live in 2012, not 1999. Get over it.
Hey, alright? It's nothing amazing. It's okay. I mean, Toonami really dies after Casher and Sins. There's nothing to really keep me to watch it anymore after that. And I mean, I'm not really even that into Casher and Sins anyway. 2 episodes have gone by, and I just can't get into that thing. And sure, Cowboy Bebop is great, but I own it on DVD already. And I know the same thing about, oh, well, you own Kaio on DVD already. Yeah, but Okay, there's not a single network that has ever aired Dragon Ball Z Kai uncut, and a lot of people don't even know Dragon Ball Z Kai is uncut. People are like, "Oh, well, that's up to Funimation and us to tell other people about the DVDs." Or was the entire point of Toonami not to give things exposure?
No, it wasn't because it was to get exposure. In 1996, Dragon Ball Z was aired in Kids WB, which it failed because of ratings. While we're also on the subject of it being aired, it was also due to the fact that Cartoon Network was looking for something to fill up the slot. You, on the other hand, seem to think that whatever's on TV automatically needs some sort of exposure. No, it doesn't. What you need to understand is you are misinformed heavily, sir. You need to start doing research instead of just going on what you think. And I don't buy for a second that you spent a day thinking about Toonami. What you did was you spent 4 seconds on it and then left. You need to stop doing that, because I can tell throughout this video you didn't fucking think. You just did whatever the fuck you wanted.
Dragon Ball Z Kai, as an uncut series, needs exposure. And I say that Dragon Ball Z, I think Toonami needs to give more respect to one of the series that really shot its. And I understand about the low budget thing and things like that, but I mean, again, I feel cheated out of that too, because Adult Swim is putting money into Eric Andre, and not us. Do you see how I feel cheated? Do you see how I just really feel cheated? Just think about it. Just think about it. Alright? Catch you guys later.
Oh, I did think. And you know what? I have 3 things you need to work on. 1. You need to stop thinking that you're the only one who watches Toonami. It's evident that's how you feel. 2. You also need to learn how to research. And the final thing you need to learn is to just stop forcing your opinions down other people's throats. It's obvious that you think this one way, and you think everybody else should. But if there's one big piece of information that I should give you guys, this guy, Future Gohan SSJ2, actually got banned or blocked by Eric Andre, the guy who makes all these decisions for Toonami. And you know what? He's making it his sole mission to attack him all the time. And you know what? That's just sad. It's an obsession that needs to stop. What you need to do is just get on with life. Toonami's not that important, and hell, I own many of the animes that I grew up watching. And you know what? I have my own ode to Toonami. You know what? That's fine with me. I'm not doing the beard saying, hopefully I'll be uploading a lot more commentaries. Hopefully.